I am really nervous but really excited and absolutely honoured to be here. I will apologise in advance. Sometimes I get a little bit emotional and sometimes I'm fine, so you'll have to bear with me. So yes, I'm Nick. I am from North Lincolnshire and Gaul. I am the first bereavement midwife in our trust, and I actually purposefully moved there because I wanted to do this role. So really, setting up a new bereavement service, it was quite daunting and dead exciting at the same time. It's not somebody else's job. I'm not stepping on someone else's toes. Nobody else has done this before me. So it's actually a really unique opportunity to put my stamp on this, to put the parents' wishes on this, and to start as I mean to go on. That said, the day I got the post, I cried and I laughed and I was super happy. I met my new boss and said, "Is this my service or is this something you've preordained and you just want me to follow through?" I was overjoyed when she said, "No, we don't know much about this stuff, crack on." Yay! So I started out and scoped the service. And you know what we had, where was it, who did it? To be fair, it's pretty easy. We had nothing but this. Midwives' compassion, their desire to do better. And actually, do you know what? That's really not a bad place to start. So we literally had no service. We had guidelines that expired that was so impossible to follow. It was ridiculous. Midwives were terrified. They knew that actually this makes a difference, and if they did something wrong, it can have massive implications down the line. So they were terrified. Everybody shied away. Nobody wanted to care for these women or families. We were really ready for a change. And whose input did we need? Well, actually, to be quite frank, it's irrelevant what I think, and it's irrelevant what the other midwives think. It is all about our families. So we went to them. I found any bereaved parent, local, regionally, nationally, that would speak to me. We went through our local maternity voices partnerships, and we found what parents wanted. And these really were the key themes that came out. They wanted us to listen and they wanted us to learn. They wanted us to train our staff better. They said that communication was absolutely key. Compassion, and some more compassion. And if you put all those together, that's what they wanted. So that's what we started out. Just a bit about the bereavement, the National Bereavement Care Pathway. Several years ago, I worked in a different trust and I emailed this lady, Antoinette Sambach, and said, "I'm working on something and I think you might be interested in it. Please can I come to Westminster and speak to you?" Who knew she'd reply? But she did. You know, that was a little bit crazy. So I got all dressed up, went to Westminster and presented to her and her team the stuff I'd been working on. And actually then she invited me to be part of the APPG. And I sat on all of the preliminary boards. We met. I said, "That's not what we're doing. That won't fit in the NHS. Women need better. What about dads? What about siblings? We need to hear them. It's not about us." And actually having that voice and that ability to make a change on such a huge level, apart from my children, is probably my most amazing thing that I've ever done in my life. So I'm very proud of that. And we are also now a Wave 2 pilot site in our trust. So everything I have done has this at the heart of it. So when it goes live and it is mandatory, we're good to go. So it sounds even more bizarre, but I looked at quick wins, and that sounds awful when you're looking at bereavement care, but I'm thinking practically here. We needed it to be parent-centred. The paperwork definitely needed to be more simple. The guidelines definitely needed updating. I needed some help. I needed to know where I could get all these things from, because literally we gave parents our memory box and nothing else. There wasn't really any keepsakes or memory making, particularly other than the hand and footprints, and it just seemed that that is nowhere near enough. So they were my quick wins. And what could I do longer term? we don't have a bereavement suite. I am absolutely ashamed to say, but we have just raised £150,000 to build one. So that's amazing. But actually, who raised that money? It was all our bereaved families, because they knew they wanted to make it better for the next person, which actually is an overarching theme with these families. They don't come in, have their baby and skip off happily. They come, the worst happens, and then they go out and make it better for others, which to me is a little bit back to front, but a testament to how brave they are. Training. We definitely needed that. Staff confidence. As a student, I am actually quite ashamed to say, I'd never even thought about a baby dying. Nobody really mentioned it to me. It wasn't taught. I wasn't prepared for it. And I was the new Band 5 in a brand new unit, not where I trained, looking after a bereaved mum, thinking, how the hell do I get through this, let alone how do I help her? That's never acceptable. And attitudes and behaviours, which I must say is a daily struggle. So that was my plan. So, cherished care pathways, very much like the Manchester Care Pathway, I'm assuming. However, it is National Bereavement Care Pathway guidance. I did present this at the same time as this is part of the work that I'd presented. As you read through this care pathway, it is actually has parents' voices inside it. So it's, as you can see on the front one, it says parents experience stillbirth as the death of their baby, not a medical event. I know that you know that, but I'm reminding you, this isn't a medical event. She hasn't come in with a broken leg or needing her appendix out. Their baby died. As you work through it, it is literally, I'm going to say this and I do not mean to offend anyone, I am blonde, I am dyslexic, I find this sort of stuff really difficult. I am emotionally attached as a midwife and as a human being. I need to make sure I'm getting it right. So everything I could possibly need, even down to asking her questions or asking dad questions, it's all in there. I'm happy to share it with anyone that wants to see it. And I've kind of broken it down at this point into 3 chunks. So we've got the diagnosis of fetal demise, intrapartum care, and termination for fetal abnormality, because all of these are really specialist areas and are really, really hard to go through. Not only as a practitioner, but I need you to be perfect because they deserve nothing less than perfect. The Cherished pack itself goes hand in hand with the pathway. It's bespoke. It is individual. It is not something you hand out. It is something you discuss with your family. And the information in there is information that families told me they needed. It is information like how to register a stillborn baby, how to register a neonatal death. They obviously don't get both cards, you only give what's appropriate. In there is a blessing card or a naming card, because not everybody has the same religion. In there is a poem from the baby, a birth certificate that everybody gets. In there is information about arranging a funeral and talking about the fact that it is not at their expense unless it's a burial, which again will change very soon. But it's information that parents came to me and said, I never really took on board that my baby had died. I never really enjoyed or had time with my baby because my mum had died a few months previous and it cost me £2,000 or £3,000, and I was thinking, how the hell am I going to afford this? So when the information was discussed, it was too late. She needed to know right there and then from the outset that actually the costs were not really an issue here. That mum was distraught because she hadn't spent the time with her baby. She'd spent time worrying about money, and that's absolutely not acceptable. As you can see, there's an ongoing theme, the butterfly. That is my hospital and my honour really to babies. My best friend's a graphic designer, so she designed it for me. It's love hearts and forget-me-nots that kind of cradle the baby, and we have them in little pin badges that have helped raise money for our bereavement suite, and anything that's to do with our service or my service has this on it. And then there's a little keepsake. So the Cherished pack isn't just information, it's keepsakes and information all together. As you can see, more butterflies. I'm a bit obsessed. Rainbows and butterflies, it's kind of my thing. So quite quickly when I spoke to parents, we don't have a bespoke birthing suite for these ladies. They could be anywhere. We do try to use one particular room, but actually if it's already occupied, they could be anywhere. And one of the mums said to me, do you know what? One doctor came into my room 3 times and asked me where my other twin was. So that morning she said, hi, I'm really sorry, what's going on here? Where's the other twin? And the mum said, actually she died. Oh, okay. The same doctor that afternoon went in and said, where's your other twin? And the mum sat up and said, my baby died. The next morning, the same doctor went in and said, where's your other twin? That mum flew off the bed and pinned her to the wall. And actually, if that had been me, I may have punched her. It's never appropriate. Other things like healthcare assistants saying, are we having a party in here? Because there's more than 2 people at the bedside. No, we're not having a party. Our baby died. I can go on, but I won't. So one of the mums said, isn't there something you can do that says, in this room, there's really sensitive things going on, and actually we don't want any old Tom, Dick and Harry coming in. We don't need the cleaner to empty the bin right now because we don't care about that. We just need our space. So we talked about the Sans teardrop or something similar, and they were really keen for it not to be sad. So that's kind of where the butterfly came from. So now, with parents' permission, we say, can we put this butterfly on your door? It just lets everybody know, the cleaner, the healthcare assistants, the porters, the midwives, the doctors, that something behind this door isn't, as how we'd like it. On the flip side of that, and I'll talk a little bit more about this later, the rainbow butterfly has a whole different meaning in our trust, but it's still linked to the same service. Keepsakes, again, something that we really didn't have and something I was really keen to push. Little bear. These little bears are made from mum's baby clothes that she's chosen for her baby. They are huge. They often say, they sit there, I don't feel like I can get rid of them, but I don't want to leave them in the drawer. I don't really know what to do with them. So at an appropriate time for that family, I ask her, have you got anything for your baby? Did you buy anything? Yeah, I've got loads, it's upstairs. Would you like me to turn it into a memory bear for you? And they are overjoyed, and actually it's one of their favourite treasured things. They are beautiful, and everyone is individual, just like their babies. We do the hand casting and moulding. It is a challenge. I have this very same week had a midwife tell me they aren't necessary. They aren't. They're a nicety, they're not necessary, and we're far too busy to do this. I sometimes have to catch my breath and reel myself in before I rip the heads off, so I just follow that with, nothing about this is nice, their baby is dead, she's only got this, that family have only got that, so you're doing it. And if you don't want to, I will do it, or you will find somebody to do it. But it is still a push, and we are still learning. And our trust pays for both the bears, and they pay for the casts to be mounted. This is Amelia, and her mum said, please share it, I love this. We also do a separate set of casts because mums say, I just want to get in there and hold them. I want to touch them, I want to hold their hands, I want to touch their little feet. So if you've put them all behind glass, that's, not that kind of way. So we do both, they get both. And this little one in the middle, that baby was 20 weeks. You can cast at any gestation. for Lewis, one of the charities I rang first, just because it was quite well known to me, or quite well known nationally. I picked up the phone and rang some guy I'd never spoke to before, I know him quite well now, and said, we have nothing, what can you give me? How do I go around this? What can I have? I was told, go on the internet and order what you like. Oh my God, I was like a kid at Christmas. All this stuff came and I was really excited. We have had a huge issue about transporting our babies to the mortuary. And I won't go into what they were doing because it literally breaks my heart. But this is what we now do. This is our brand new pram, and all our babies can go to the mortuary in there. Mums and dads can take them if they wish, or I can take them if they wish. But the fact that they get to push their babies, or the fact that they know their baby went for a walk in a pram, it just melts my heart every time I see that they kind of go, I never thought we'd get to do this, or I never thought they'd get to do that. It makes a huge difference, and it's such a simple change. It has been a journey. I had one midwife that said, we're not doing that, it's disgusting, it makes my skin crawl. Why would you do that? Because the parents want to, because I want to, because it's what's best. Well, actually, I'm not doing it. What happens if somebody stops me and wants to look? They'll be sad. And my answer was, they won't be as sad as the parents have the baby. And and actually, if you walk with purpose, nobody stops you. If you walk around looking for a conversation, everybody will speak to you. But if you walk, nobody will stop you. So we do it now. We never had a cold cot, we just had the cuddle cot. So now we've got a brand new cold cot that Abigail's footsteps sent to me. We have the Lexi dolls, we have aching arms bears, and we've literally just got hand in their heart. All of these things I offer. Who am I to decide what the families want and what they don't want? If they don't want it, they say no. But actually 9 times out of 10 they will have everything because they've got nothing. Mama Academy, literally, I went to an Our Angels conference in, was it March? February. Goodness me, February. And I picked up one of these wallets and I was a little bit blown away by, why don't we have this? So I went back to my trust and said, I need these. And I was told, no, we haven't got any money. We're in special measures. Okay, so my head of midwifery said, but if you can get funding from elsewhere, we will gladly support it. We'd love them, in fact, but we just can't afford them. So I went to our League of Friends and said, any chance you can have these, and this is what they're for. They bit my arm off. They loved it. And this couple here, this is Bev and Pete and their beautiful baby. She is wearing a rainbow outfit because she has an older sister that was stillborn last year. And this family came in because of something they'd read on the wallet. Now, I cannot stress how important they are. And actually, for Bev, she was quite shy and didn't want to cause any trouble. So she said, my wallet says I need to come here. Not me. It's not me saying I need to come. My wallet says I need to come. That lady ended up with a crash section. It was my day off. They rang me. I drove into work. I went with her. But I'll go into that later. So I can absolutely 100% say that those wallets saved that baby's life. These are all the other charities that kind of helped me out so much. Little Things & Co. send me the most beautiful books, and it's kind of one message from one bereaved parent to another. They are outstanding. It's like little messages of love. Be kind to yourself. Look after each other. It's okay to be on a different page to your partner. Those sorts of things. And then I had the absolute pleasure of having these guys come and do an entire study day for our trust. It was outstanding, and I know I organised it, but by God, it was brilliant. We had neonatal sisters, we had midwives, we had students, we had people from A&E, we had our local hospice. Chris, you'll hear later, amazing, and I've got Bea in my arms. She's just too beautiful to cuddle, and literally I can't train my staff without other people's help, because actually listening to me I'm a bit boring, but as you clearly listen to other mums, they are amazing. Their stories make this real. It is real. We did the practical sessions, We cast the feet, we took photos, and actually our trust is still talking about it. There's a long way to go, but it has changed lots of people's attitudes. We use our local hospice. All our families are offered to go to the hospice, but because we don't, even when we do have a bereavement suite, we will still offer it because they can go there. I had one dad who was really lovely actually, but said he wanted to punch me. And I was a little bit anxious at the time. Do I need to leave now? Should I be worried? When you offered for me to go to the hospice, I was absolutely distraught. Why on earth would I want to go to a hospice with my wife and our dead daughter? What am I going to do? Please, I just don't want to do that. I was even more horrified that my wife thought it was an amazing idea. But because she did, we went. We took our other 2 children, and you know what? We had the most amazing week. We spent 7 full days loving our daughter, giving her memories, giving our other children memories of her, and I will never be able to thank you enough. So actually, you know, it does matter. It makes a huge difference. And moments make memories. I am really, really key that we don't give families ready-made memories, that we get them involved. So they do the prints if they want to. They help with the casting. It's almost like a playgroup session. And you know what? They're memories that they will live forever, as opposed to me going, here, some lovely footprints. And as lovely as they are, they didn't make that memory, they were just given them. So I'm all about making memories together and choice. It's their choice, not mine. So really the biggest challenge yet, midwives, oh my God, midwives are a nightmare. We don't do this here. We've never done this before. I don't like change. Doctors, absolutely the same. We're stepping out of our comfort zone here. I don't want to do that. So we're just going to keep it as it is. That's not okay with me. We're pushing forward. I am standing on my soapbox and I am making you do this. And time. Time is the biggest restraint for me. I am a full-time bereavement midwife, which is absolutely a luxury, but it isn't. I am full-time. I work 8 to 4. How many other hours in the day am I not there? I'm not full-time. There's not a 24-hour service. At the minute, if I'm not there, the service kind of reverts back to type, which I hate, but I'm one person and we're working on it. So they're my biggest challenges. Love. I love the infinity. This kind of leads me on. Bereavement doesn't stop. It's infinity. It keeps going. And then this talks about the next pregnancy. So I will send you a sticker of mine. You can have my sticker. I will share with you. So we all know what rainbow babies are, and we've already heard this morning how hard it is to be pregnant when you've all been... I always talk about it as a bubble. Once that bubble's burst, it's very different for you. So I looked into Tommy's, the research, and actually 70% of mums that lose babies will be pregnant again within a year. That's huge. And actually, you're 5 times more likely to have a stillbirth if you've already had one. Those stats are massive. Absolutely massive. Most mums tell me that they didn't get any support. Most dads tell me they didn't get any support. Even grannies come and tell me, I don't know how to support my daughter. My daughter's broken because her daughter's gone. How am I meant to deal with that? So they need more support. I love this. I'm not going to read it out, but I absolutely love this. This is absolutely what you were saying in a nutshell. I am putting my heart out there on the line again to try for this because it's so worth it. But actually I know that on the flip side of that, it can break me. So I went to my boss and said, I'd got this amazing presentation, all these references, you name it, proper, and I'm dyslexic. It nearly killed me. And wanted to present it to her and said, I really want to run Rainbow Clinic. And she went, what's that? Well, basically, in a nutshell, I want to support all the families that had previous losses, whether it be an early miscarriage, whether it be a neonatal death. I am looking after a lady whose baby died from a freak accident, just like yours. I don't discriminate. Who am I to discriminate? A loss is a loss. So she went, love it, do it. Where did that come from? So I was on it, absolutely on it. And this is my very first Trust Rainbow baby. She was a twin, and her other twin sadly died. And her mum, literally, I love what she's written here, and she's put, It's really difficult to articulate the gratitude you have for a service that's provided you so much support, yet the reasons for the support was painful and unwanted. She didn't want my support. She didn't want to meet me. Let me tell you, no mum ever wants to meet me. But actually, when they do, I hope to make a difference, and that's why I keep doing what I do. And these are all the others. There's loads more, but I just picked a few. And as you can see, they are all wearing rainbow-themed outfits. Now, I am fully aware that not every mum embraces the rainbow thing. I absolutely get that. This is not inflicted upon them. This is a choice. And actually, these mums love it. They're all over it. So, yeah, these are a little bunch of rainbows. And these are all my mums, or a few, I say all of them, it's not all of them, it's a very small sample. And they all got together and they did this. There was a big smoke bomb one in the media, and they were like, we want to do it ourselves. We are Grimsby, we are girls. So these are all my rainbow mums, and they were like, show it to everyone, we love it. And quite a few more of these have got beautiful rainbows in their arms now as well. And I have amazing charity support. Our trust hospital is the Health Tree Foundation, and they pay for 4 nappies, a vest, a baby grow, and I just put an email, a Facebook message out saying, can anyone knit? Can anyone knit me things with rainbows on? Oh my God, my office is huge. It's swamped with them now because everybody wants to help out. I was really honoured that Tommy's National Charity shared me, and no, I'm not the best to look at, and they chop my head off. The Nursing Times did the same thing, so I am starting to get a complex. So when Chris asked me for a photo, I did send him one with a chopped off head. This lady up here, this actually is my mum, and I am a little bit overwhelmed today because I spent all night in A&E with her last night. She's okay. But this lady is Judy. This is where I start blubbing, sorry. Judy had a stillborn daughter 60 years ago. She actually didn't know it was a girl or a boy. They just took the baby away. She's knitted me over 100 rainbow blankets, and every blanket she knits, she says, I feel that little bit closer to my baby, and I wish somebody was around then to help me like you help these ladies. And this is my living room, and there's literally rainbow stuff everywhere. So, a really wonderful person once said to me, nobody is an island. I don't do this on my own. I don't help women or dads or siblings or grandmas or anybody who needs me. I don't do it by myself. I do it with the support from amazing charities. I do it from support from literally anyone that will listen to me, because as a bereavement midwife, you're very, very isolated. This is my favourite way of talking about myself, which Chris thinks I'm completely barking mad. I'm a biscuit. Everybody loves a biscuit. But actually, the charities, the people that support us are the chocolate. Now everybody loves a chocolate biscuit where you are. That's what I like to say. And then the hardest of climbs for the greatest of view. This is not an easy job, but it's way easier for me. I'd rather be this than have my families leave with the experiences that some of you guys have had. So it's really, really important. The learning curve is this. I'm saying my service is far from what I want it to be, but it's definitely heading in the right direction. And I just wanted to read last before I finish. I was asked this week what Baby Loss Awareness Week meant to me. So I wrote this just while I was bathing my youngest 2 children. As you sit there on the loo as they're, squirting each other and blowing bubbles and things. And actually it kind of rolled off the tongue. I didn't have to try to write this, but I'm going to read it. But I am so sorry if I start blubbing, because it literally gets to me a little bit. So, to me, Baby Loss Awareness Week is where I can be seen. I come out of the dark and into the light. Usually I go about my role in the shadows, always hiding, not needed, and not wanting to upset expectant parents by highlighting the fact that in 2018, babies still die. This week, I get to be seen. I get to highlight that not every baby goes home, not every parent gets to parent their baby, and that happy ever after doesn't always exist. I get to speak out. I get to light up that baby loss, baby death, is a reality that far too many face, and sadly, far too many face it in the dark. Taken to small groups, closed groups, secret clubs that really nobody wants to belong to, but they belong to that group and are connected by the worst that life has to offer, the death of a parent's most treasured hope, their baby. Like families, I'm alone and isolated, hidden away, called when the worst happens and discharged when I'm no longer needed, just like the family when they go home. In the quiet and in the dark, I'm honoured to be one of only the few people who get to hold precious angels, to support their families with broken hearts, to be a hand to hold and a shoulder to cry on, and to share the most beautiful, most awful, most amazing, heartbreaking journey that anyone could endure. This week, I get to be in the light. We get to celebrate these angels existed, that we love them, that they are missed, and that they matter. The wave of light is all about the love, the silence erupting from every heart that said hello and goodbye in a heartbeat. That's what it means to me. Thank you.